They told me I'd just have to live with it. The doctors, the neighbors, even my daughter. You're getting older, they said. Joint pain is part of the deal. But let me ask you something. What if it isn't? What if I told you that the answer wasn't in another prescription, or in some expensive cream on a pharmacy shelf, but in something most of us throw in the trash every day? That's right. The cure for the pain that kept me from standing, from walking, even from sleeping some nights, was hiding inside the yellow fruit I've sliced into my tea for decades. Not the juice, the peel. I'll never forget the day I found it. My knees were screaming again. I hadn't walked to my mailbox in 3 days. And as I sat down holding a warm cup of lemon tea, I glanced over at the cutting board and noticed the pile of peels I was about to toss. And something told me, don't. What happened next changed everything. In the next few minutes, I'll tell you exactly what I did with those peels, how I used them with 2 other simple ingredients, and why I haven't felt that same pain since. We often think joint pain is just about getting old, but that's not the whole story. The truth is, what we call arthritis or stiff knees is often the result of chronic inflammation, the kind that builds up quietly over years. It starts with the foods we eat, the toxins we absorb, the stress we carry, and before we know it, our joints become stiff, swollen, and sore like rusty hinges on an old gate. Now here's what shocked me. Most over-the-counter creams, they only mask the pain. They don't address what's causing it, the underlying inflammation. And the pills. Sure, they might help for a while, but I couldn't ignore the side effects. My stomach was in knots. I felt dizzy. My sleep was worse, and still the pain returned. I started to ask myself, if the problem is inside my body, shouldn't the solution be natural too? That's when I began looking into traditional remedies. What elders in other parts of the world used before drugstores were ever a thing. And I kept hearing one thing over and over again: citrus peels. I thought it sounded strange at first, but the more I researched, the more it made sense. Citrus peels, especially lemon, are full of healing oils and compounds that modern medicine often overlooks. And I had them in my kitchen all along. I used to think the lemon was all about the juice, that sharp, tangy splash in my tea, a bit of zest on fish, maybe a little in salad dressing. But the truth is, the real magic of a lemon is in its peel. That tough, fragrant yellow skin that most of us just throw away, it's packed with powerful anti-inflammatory compounds more than the juice itself. Researchers have found that lemon peel contains limonene, citral flavonoids, and vitamin C in high concentrations. These natural substances help calm inflammation, neutralize free radicals, and even detoxify the tissues that surround our joints. But here's what really convinced me. When I began studying natural remedies used in the Mediterranean and parts of South America, I noticed something fascinating. People there have been using lemon peels for centuries, not just in cooking, but in topical remedies for pain relief. They'd soak the peels in warm oil, add eucalyptus, let it sit, then apply it directly on aching knees, elbows, hands. And guess what? It worked. I remember thinking, how could I be 74 years old and no one ever told me this? We're so used to looking for help in the form of a pill, we've forgotten that nature has always been our first pharmacy. So instead of tossing my lemon peels in the trash like I always had, I kept them. I dried them. I followed the recipe. And just 1 week later, I woke up and realized I could stand up without pain. That's when I knew. This was no old wives' tale. There was one morning that broke me. The kind of morning you don't forget. It was raining outside, soft and steady. I could hear it tapping against the windows. I reached for the armrest to push myself up from my recliner, something I'd done 1,000 times before. But this time, nothing. My knees locked. The pain shot through my legs like fire. I froze there, halfway up, halfway down, feeling like my own body was turning against me. I called out, but no one heard. I waited, breathing through the pain, blinking back tears. Not from the hurt, but from the helplessness. You don't realize how precious movement is until you lose it. That moment stayed with me. It wasn't just about sore joints. It was about losing independence, dignity. The simple act of walking to the kitchen became a battle. That evening, as I sat alone, I made a quiet promise. I don't care if it sounds silly. I'll try anything, even rubbing lemon peels on my legs, if it means I get one more morning where I can stand tall, pain-free. And that promise, led me to something truly surprising. It started with 3 things I already had in my kitchen: lemons, olive oil, and a few leaves of eucalyptus I'd bought years ago for a homemade tea I never made. I found the old recipe in an article written by a retired herbalist in southern Italy. She said it was something her grandmother passed down, used for everything from aching knees to swollen wrists. Simple, natural, no pills, no side effects. Here's how I made it. I took 2 large lemons and peeled them carefully, trying to keep the skins in long strips. I placed the peels in a clean glass jar, then poured in 1 cup of extra virgin olive oil, making sure the peels were completely submerged. Then I added 5 fresh eucalyptus leaves. You can use a few drops of eucalyptus essential oil. If you don't have the leaves, it works just as well. I sealed the jar tightly, gave it a gentle shake, and let it sit in a cool, dark cabinet for 2 weeks. Every couple of days, I shook the jar again to help the oils blend. After 14 days, the lemon and eucalyptus had infused into the olive oil, creating a golden, citrusy healing blend. To use it, I soaked a strip of clean gauze in the mixture and wrapped it around my knee right where the pain was. Then I covered it with plastic wrap and a warm cloth to keep the area cozy and help the oils absorb. I did this every evening before bed. The first night, the scent alone calmed me. By the 3rd night, I slept through without waking from the ache. And by the 7th night, something incredible happened. I got out of bed. No hesitation, no grimace, no waiting for the stiffness to pass. It felt like a small miracle. But the best part, I made it myself. No chemicals, no prescriptions, just nature, patience, and a little hope. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I've learned to trust what my body tells me, and it was telling me this worked. Still, I wanted to understand why. Here's what I found. Lemon peels are full of flavonoids and limonene, powerful compounds that fight inflammation right at the source. Unlike creams that only work on the surface, these natural oils seep in and calm the irritated tissues around the joint. Olive oil, especially extra virgin, isn't just a kitchen staple. It contains oleocanthal, which scientists have compared to ibuprofen for its anti-inflammatory effects, but without the harsh side effects. And eucalyptus. It's been used for centuries as a natural pain reliever. The leaves and essential oil contain cineole, which not only reduces swelling, but also has a cooling effect that soothes nerve endings. That's why you feel that gentle relief almost instantly after applying it. But here's the key. These ingredients work together. Lemon peel breaks down inflammation. Olive oil carries those healing compounds deep into the tissue. Eucalyptus calms and cools the area, helping your muscles and joints relax. It's not magic. It's just smart. It's the kind of simple, elegant wisdom our grandparents knew, and that we're only now beginning to remember. And once I saw how it worked for me, I started sharing it with others. I didn't expect results overnight. I'd been living with joint pain for years. I knew better than to hope for a miracle on day 1. But still, something started shifting. After 3 days, the tightness in my knees began to ease. It wasn't dramatic, but I could move a little more freely when getting out of bed. The morning stiffness, it didn't last as long. I noticed I was walking slower, yes, but without grimacing. After 7 days, something even more surprising happened. I went to the mailbox, something I hadn't done in almost 2 weeks. Halfway down the driveway, I stopped and realized I'm not in pain. There was still some discomfort, sure, but the burning ache, it was fading. By day 14, I could kneel again. Not for long, not like I did in my 40s, but I could kneel to tend my garden, something I'd quietly mourned giving up. It felt like I'd gotten back a little piece of myself. And with each day that passed, I started wondering, why didn't anyone tell me about this sooner? How many of us are living in pain, not because we have to, but because no one told us there's another way? Looking back, I realized pain teaches you more than doctors ever can. It teaches you patience, humility, gratitude, and sometimes it teaches you the truth about what really matters. If I could go back 10 years and tell my younger self just one thing, it would be this: don't wait until the pain gets unbearable to start listening to your body. Don't assume that aging means surrendering your comfort, your hobbies, your joy. Because it doesn't. I wish someone had told me that the answer might be sitting on my kitchen counter. That something as ordinary as a lemon peel could help me walk with ease again, cook again, laugh again, without wincing every time I stood up. I don't need to run marathons. I just want to move with grace, without pain. And now I can. That's a gift I never expected, but one I'll never forget. If you're watching this and living with daily joint pain, please don't keep that pain to yourself. I know how lonely it can feel. I also know how powerful a simple remedy can be, especially when it's shared with love. So here's my gentle request, try this. And if it helps you even a little, pass it on. Share this video with a friend, a sister, a neighbor, someone who wakes up dreading the walk to the bathroom in the morning. You never know how deeply one small act of kindness can ripple through someone's life. We're in this together. Let's help each other heal.